You've been involved in an accident as a cyclist in Florida. What do you do now? Well, first of all, I want to go through some statistics with you because you're not alone. These cycling accidents happen a lot. Tampa, especially, is a very unsafe city for cyclists. We haven't done a good job building out the city in such a way that it's a good place for pedestrians and cyclists. So there are a lot of fatalities and injuries in bicycle accidents where they get hit by other cyclists, cars, motorcycles, buses, trucks, you name it. So first of all, we have a high fatality rate in urban areas. Over 78% of fatal cycling accidents occur in urban areas. And now primarily that's due to higher traffic density and interactions with vehicles. Two is intersection dangers. So approximately 27% of cycling accidents happen at intersections. That makes them hotspots for collisions. So when you're approaching an intersection on a bicycle, just make sure that you have your head on a swivel and you're looking everywhere and protecting yourself. Age vulnerability. So we've done the studies show that people ages 50 to 59 have the highest fatality rates of cyclists, despite assumptions that generally, right, that younger riders are more at risk because maybe they're more dangerous. Maybe they're more cavalier in how they ride their bicycle. But the studies show that ages 50 to 59 actually have a higher fatality rate. Gender disparity. So about 87% of cyclist fatalities involve male riders, likely due to differences in cycling habits and risk-taking behaviors. At least that's what the studies think. Helmet efficacy. So if you're going to ride a bicycle in an urban area especially, but anywhere really, because you can fall off, and a fall from 3 or 4 feet can be catastrophic to your brain. But helmet efficacy. Helmets reduce the risk of head injuries in bicycle accidents by 60% and fatalities by 37%. But the statistics also show that only about 21% of cyclists wear helmets in some areas. That number is just way too low. So there's also statistics that show that cyclists are sometimes actually using their phone when they get into accidents. When a cyclist is using their phone, they're about 2.5 times more likely to be involved in an accident. Riding your bicycle at night obviously is more dangerous. About 50% of fatal cycling accidents occur between 6 p.m. and midnight, often due to obviously reduced visibility of other vehicles on the road. There are seasonal spikes. Spring and summer see a significant increase in cycling accidents. Obviously, that's probably because there's better weather, there's more cyclists on the road, there's more people out and about, but generally you're going to see more cycling accidents in those months. Let's talk about drunk cycling. So about 20% of cyclist fatalities involve riders with blood alcohol levels above the legal limit. So that is very concerning, obviously. There's a large vehicle threat to cyclists. Obviously, it's harder for a large vehicle to see a cyclist. So trucks and buses are disproportionately involved in cycling accidents, accounting for 30 to 40% of the accidents in urban settings, even though they account for much less percentage of the overall traffic in an urban area. And then a lot of times, like even with these statistics I'm giving you, cycling accidents are underreported. Studies suggest that for every reported cycling accident, there are 10 to 15 near misses that go completely unreported. So there's a lot of maybes. There's a lot of small cycling accidents that happen that don't even get reported. So those are just some cycling statistics to keep in mind, so that you understand the importance of being safe, using your brakes, wearing a helmet, looking around, stopping at stop signs. A lot of times, at least as for me in Tampa as a driver, I see cyclists running red lights. I see cyclists going out in between traffic. If you're a cyclist, you really need to obey the rules of the road, even more so than vehicles, because you're the most vulnerable person on the road. If you hit a vehicle, that person is not going to get injured. But if they hit you, you've got nothing in between you, between their car and your body, and so you're going to take that whole impact. So you need to be very safe, stop at stop signs and obey all the laws of the road, signal, let the cars know where you're going, wear lights at night, wear reflective clothes so that cars can see you. You just really can't be too careful, especially in Tampa where the bike lanes are so small or even non-existent. All right, so let's talk about common causes of bicycle accidents. First, obviously, is collisions with motor vehicles. So motorists that fail to yield, they misjudge distances, they overtake cyclists in an unsafe way. They don't see cyclists. They see the cyclist is in their blind spot and they make a turn. So that, I mean, cars are a catastrophic way for a person to be involved in a bicycle accident. Some of the other ones that we're talking about, you can bounce back a little easier from, but the hot spots where you really want to be looking out for bicycling accidents involving vehicles is intersections, driveways, and areas with heavy traffic. So every time you go by a driveway, double check as you come back, because somebody can come flying in the reverse out of their driveway and not see you. And again, even though they're at fault, like, hey, I wasn't doing anything wrong. True, but who's going to be the injured person? You are. The person driving that car isn't going to feel any injury from that. Two is cyclist errors. So that's a very common cause of cycling accidents. And so that could be rider actions like we talked about, like failing to obey traffic signals, riding against traffic, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to ride with traffic, or just being generally distracted, looking at signs, looking at billboards, looking at your phone, talking on the phone. You want to really be, when you're on a bicycle, riding around an urban area especially, you want to really be focused. So, crossing an intersection against a red light would be an example of a cyclist error. Three, poor road conditions a lot of times cause bicycle accidents. So that could be anything from pothole, a debris, like a big branch lying in the street, an uneven surface, or a poorly marked bike lane. So those are just things, again, if you're focused on the road, it's going to be a little bit harder to be hurt by that. But, you want to always be paying attention. You don't want to ride over a big pothole. You could go head first over your handlebars. And so again, wearing a helmet's very important there. Distracted riding or driving, we already talked about that. Use of mobile devices, even headphones, right? When I ride my bicycle, I do not put headphones in because I can't hear the ambient sounds. I can't hear a car honking at me. I can't hear somebody yelling for me. I can't hear somebody saying, hey, get out of the way. So I don't wear headphones. A general lack of attention is just, an important thing just to avoid when you're riding a bicycle. And then the last thing we'll talk about is a dooring accident. So I'm sure you guys have heard of this. I don't know if you've heard of it as a dooring accident, but what that is when you're riding along a car and if somebody opens their car door and hits you. You've seen it in the movies. It happens in all like the romantic comedy movies. The guy's riding down the street and the girl opens the car door and wham, he hits the car door and he flies off the bicycle. Those are actually a lot more common than you think. And those you can hold somebody accountable for, right? Like if you're riding your bike, you have the right of way. And that person, before they open their door, they need to be looking around. They need to look in their side mirror and make sure nobody's coming. And so they're not opening the car door right on you, because how could you expect that to happen? Another way that an accident can happen out from a dooring accident is they see the cyclist sees the door open and then they try to go around it and they go into traffic. Not good. So just to recap, ways to stay safe. Always wear a helmet when you're riding a bicycle. Tampa is a really, really dangerous place to ride a bicycle. Where I think the city is trying to do more and more to like widen the roads, make bigger bike lanes, make Tampa a more bike-friendly city, but it's just not there yet. So pay attention to stop signs, red lights, keep your head on a swivel, look at where other cars are going. Keep in mind a lot of those statistics we talked about. If you can avoid driving at night, you probably want to do that unless you're riding around a park or somewhere like that doesn't have a lot of actual vehicle traffic. But protect yourself. We represent a lot of people who have been hit by vehicles when and our clients are riding their bike. And yes, we can help you through that process. We can help you find the medical treatment that you need. We can help you seek justice from the person that hit you, but we don't want you to be in that position at all. But if you do find yourself in that position, call us day or night. We're here for you. We offer free consultations. We, offer you a no-risk situation where you can hire us and have us look at your cycling accident claim. There's no fees to you unless you win. So call us today if you've been involved in a cycling accident and let us walk you through the next steps.